Well, my name is Christine Cox and I am the Business Development Manager at ALLFM, but I'm also Director of my own company called Dream State 38. So basically, business development, I gave myself a totally different title, but I am actually officially business development, but I call myself sort of creative community engagement because I think the biggest thing about the job, I think you can get stuck on businesses and advertising and all of that kind of stuff, and for an organisation like a community radio station or anything community orientated, it doesn't work. So I think you have to work from a totally different model. So you have to be incredibly friendly, able to go out and about, talk to loads of people and make connections. So for me, that's what it's about. It's about making loads of connections with really interesting and interested people. And then you find a series of passionate people and then you kind of bring things together. So I think a lot of stuff these days should be collaborative. I think one of the problems with the recession is everybody's kind of ended up holding on to their little pile, and actually fundamentally it destroys communities and destroys community development. So for me, business development in a community radio station is actually community development creatively, and obviously you've got to bring in money, but it has to be done from a needs point of view. So I don't work from the point of view of just finding a load of funding bids and then there's this fund and this fund and this fund and we'll just chase everything. I think that's a fool's way of going. That's kind of building your house on the sand, to be honest. What you need to do is decide as a community organisation what it is that you want to achieve. So for us, we decided that what we wanted was the radio is at the core, but actually we want to be an arts centre around that radio. So then it kind of gave me an idea, who do I want in? How do I want to matter in the community? So I want us to be important to as many people as possible because that ensures our survival. Soon as you start just chasing little bits of funding, you become really weak. You don't matter to anybody, you've lost your focus of what it is that you wanted to achieve, and people stop coming through the door. So the whole point for me is about building a community, something that matters. So from that, once we decided we had an arts organisation, that's what we wanted, we then applied, so I then looked around and I found Arts Council, so I put in funding bids there with Ed, the station manager here, for our soap opera, so we got that. And then we wanted to look at young people because we looked at the problem that's happening here. There's very little youth provision. And young people are very interested in music, and all the young people we'd spoken to are interested in music. So we planned a youth music project. So I sort of did my vision, and I went round to all the councils and various other people and talked about it and discovered where there was no money, but also where the really interesting, passionate people are. So we kind of started to link up. And then I wrote what we wanted to achieve. And then I found the youth music bid, and that seemed to match it. I went to the conference in London. So for me, it's all about, where do you want to go first? What do you want to achieve first? Write that down and then find funding that matches that. And I think that's why we're now successful with our funding. It's sort of starting to come in. We've got WEA funding, which is going to be for carers and mental health, which is another thing that we really wanted to do. We've got the soap opera starting, youth music's just begun. We've put in a loneliness and isolation bid, which is working with older people, so I had an older person strategy. So for me, it's about bringing all of the community through these doors in lots of different ways, in creative ways, in musical ways, in drama ways, and using our strengths here and the strengths of myself and the station manager Ed, who's also a script writer. So it's about kind of expanding all of that and what we do already. So that's the biggest thing that I would say to anybody, is start from the point of what you want to achieve first.